Alright, guys. We've got Trigger in the top left, up with Serral playing for Basilisk. We're going to be casting today some highlight matches from the 2v2 portion of the Crank Gathers tournament. Crank Gathers was a awesome show match series, team league essentially. It was actually quite a big team league with all the top StarCraft teams playing for many thousands of dollars, as Serral accidentally misclicked a bunch of his workers on that mineral patch. You don't see that every day. They're representing Basilisk. They're playing against Clem in the top right and MaNa for Team Liquid. And this is really fun because they're essentially these are best of one maps, but the way these tournaments would work is they'd play like best of 9s, best of 13s once it got to the finals. I think they might have even been bigger. I think best of 13 might have been the biggest. You had some epic series go on where players, I mean, they were just playing so many games, and it would all be best of ones. You'd have like a 1v1 matchup, another 1v1 matchup, so maybe it would be Serral versus Clem. Then you'd have Rainer versus MaNa or something. Then you'd have a 2v2 match, then 2 more 1v1s, then a 2v2, and this could keep going. And sometimes we got 3 2v2s. I don't think we ever got a 4th 2v2. I think 3 was the maximum we managed to hit in this tournament series. But point being, we got to see some cool stuff. You know, we got to see a lot of players play 2v2 that normally don't. So what I'm going to do is, this is the upper bracket match, I believe, between Team Liquid, of course, in the top right, Basilisk in the top left, and it's going to be, you know, a big best of, I think this was a best of 9, but we're just going to cast the 2v2 matches because I feel like those tell their own story. Some people have requested I cast the entire Team League series, but I just feel like I'm not sure how many 5-hour videos I want to put out on my YouTube channel, so I'm kind of like, do we want to put out 5 hours of, you know, and some of them are a bit one-sided where the Serrals and the Rainers are cleaving through the opponents one after the other and not the most exciting game. So I'm taking more of a highlight approach to covering this tournament, and I hope you guys do enjoy it. So this one, we're going to be catching all of the 2v2s played between these two teams in this particular series, and we can kind of see what progresses in the strats. Clem is going to go 2 racks Reaper into expand. I love how he builds the depot there, creating a wall with MaNa, who's also gone 2 gate before expand. Trigger, on the other hand, has gone for a quick Nexus. I think, was this a Nexus first, guys? That's a Nexus first into 2 gate. So he's gone super greedy. Serral's gone hatch first. And they're going to deal with 2 racks Reaper and I guess a couple of Adepts coming across this map. This could be hard to deal with, but if they can defend it, they should be in a good position. Cybercore's still not finished for Trigger right now. He's going to have to defend this. I guess Serral's Queen can waddle over and help defend in a moment, but Serral's Queen not quite out just yet. Lings are going to come. Probes are going to pull as well. Trigger pulling those probes back. Queen's going to come over and help defend the mineral line. First 2 Adepts about to come in right now as 2 Stalkers start to get chrono boosted to defend this base. More Adepts finding the natural. 2 probes are open there. Nice first 2 kills as the Reapers start to dive in and get out of control. No, they don't. Clem runs a Reaper through the natural mineral line. Serral gets to surround with the drone and the Queen and shuts it down. Very nicely done. 2 Stalkers are out. That's really big. Those 2 Stalkers could be massive. Another Reaper does come in, but Clem, with that uncharacteristic miss micro, did take a lot of damage. He also runs another Reaper, headbutts it into a bad position, and that is a little bit uncharacteristic, guys. Clem giving up his early Reaper momentum. But the Adepts are still finding good damage. Generally speaking, being aggressive and macroing hard behind it is the more standard way to play 2v2s. Question is, did Trigger and Serral defend well enough to keep their economy advantage alive? Another Reaper just got focused down there. It feels like Trigger's defense has been on point. Behind this, the expansions are up. The Orbital and the Nexus about to finish for our Team Liquid team of Clem and MaNa, but look at that. Ling's going for a surround. The Adepts going to try and fight this off. Stalker's chasing after the Reapers. Nicely done, dude. Look at that. The Adepts all going down. Now they've got map control. Serral's got a 3rd base up in the midst of it. Trigger doing pretty well. He is slightly supply blocked, but his pylon's about to finish, and of course, these Lings going to try and chase after the Reapers and Adepts. I like the backwards shade there. MaNa comes forward to give a bit of support to Clem. And behind this, Dark Shrine on the way for MaNa. Clem has got Tech Lab Reactor. He's going to be going for Stim. The Reapers do run out on this side of the map. The Mad Lads, can they escape? Well, looks like they got a nice little ledge there to get out. These Adepts can shade backwards as well. MaNa's just looking for free kills, you know. Use the shade always as the kind of get out of jail free card and see what you can get done. Okay, 4 barracks and an engineering bay. No factory for Clem. He's going full Bioman. I think he might even try. I mean, he's got to go factory. I was going to say he might try to go 3rd command center before factory, but I'm like, nah, then your medevacs would be way too late. Down south, Gateway's coming up for MaNa. That's so we can warp in early Dark Templar. Serral's Overlord sacrifice will go down. And of course, the big thing you want to check in 2v2s is total worker tally. And our left side team, Trigger and Serral for Basilisk, are up at 85 workers, up against less than 70 for Trigger, for Clem and MaNa. So Clem and MaNa need damage, and they need it now. Like, they absolutely need these Dark Templar to do something to slow down their opponents. And to be fair, there's no Lair. There's no Spore in the natural or third. There's no Robo. These Dark Templar might just win this game. If he can get one in each base, that could be huge. Oh my gosh. That's actually really big, guys. And all you can do is build Spores and Cannons here. The Dark Templar are going to run in. How quickly does Serral see this? I think Serral might see it very early. Oh, he goes in straight away. MaNa shows his hand a bit too early, I think. Serral did spot it pretty quickly, but he's just going to go for the third hatchery while this one goes for the drones. I think that was a missed opportunity there for MaNa. I think he should have gone in deeper and tried to get in the base. The Marines on the front, though. Clem's got to be careful. This is not a good army. Those Stalkers will mince this. The Dark Templar runs away from the Spore Crawler, tries to run to the right side. The cannon is already almost up. Third base will go down. I mean, it's not a bad snipe. This is decent damage. But is this the damage they were looking for? That cannon, I think it's going to finish. I think it will finish, especially with the battery there. And the Lings even push that Dark Templar out of the way. Okay, and a Queen and a third hatch go down. A couple drones. A bunch of detection gets forced. Now, if we check at the work account, you can see our right side team for Liquid have kind of closed the gap a little bit. But the Blink Stalkers with Blink and +1 about to finish are going to chase here through the grass. The Marines turn around, realizing that sight blocker is the one thing that might equalize. But look at that, Serral's going to loop around the right side. Serral's Lings looping around the right side. Trigger turning his Stalkers into more of just a posturing force, more of a defensive force. Does lose one Stalker, but the Link counter for Serral with +1 melee almost finished, finishing about 20 seconds, will be fantastic. A whole bunch of Marines in the rally get caught. MaNa should be able to hold the choke point at least. Serral has taken away the reinforcement here. Stalkers in the middle of the map as well, catching these Marines on the retreat. Sight block is not going to be enough to defend this. These Adepts going down really quickly. Dude, Trigger is chasing this army down so well. The Basilisk players off that greedy start, that efficient defense, it feels like they've got just a bit of an advantage. The Marine count has been so whittled down. Clem on pure Marine medevac right now. I've seen Clem play this exact same style you know, in a few different situations recently. And the thing is, the Marine style is really good, but it falls off a cliff because you don't have Marauders. You can't deal with splash damage or anything like that. Likewise, they're just very fragile. And without shields and medevacs yet, he's in trouble. The tank and the Stalkers are able to defend. Double drop counterattack goes in. Clem knows he needs damage. He cannot let these guys macro up behind this. Serral's already going for 2-1 upgrades. He's got Massling finding the third base of MaNa. That's going to be an easy cancel. Let's see if Clem can make them pay for it. He focuses down a pylon. He sees a recall, gets another pylon, and gets out of there. Lovely harassment, but at what cost? Once again, the third base goes down. Serral playing a really efficient Zergling style. Should be going Infestation Pit. One thing I've noticed is a lot of players love playing Massling on big maps in 2v2, which is really good. The thing is, you need to go to Ultras pretty early because Lings, likewise, similar to the style with the Mass Marine, it falls off a cliff once your opponent has splash damage. Looks like this double drop does get pushed back. Both medevacs do survive, but even more buildings and a tank getting caught by the Zergons in the south. Serral and Trigger are not really up in supply. Clem's supply is dangerous, right? Because he's got a massive Marines. Looks like he's killed a few Stalkers up there as well. This is a crazy, messy situation. Trigger right now up against Clem, fighting head-to-head. It's a lot of Blink Stalkers with +1. He's trying to go charge behind it. The Stalker's microing really well. Clem's got to be careful, though, because his army will run out of steam. And look at that. Lings distract on the right side, which means Clem is in the middle of the map on his own. The Lings and the Stalkers are so mobile. There's no escaping that. How the hell did he save that siege tank? If anyone can explain that, please let me know. I can't believe he got to that in time. It does end up having to unload because the medevac's deep in the red, and it does fall. The Stalkers for MaNa trying to defend Clem, but it feels like they are on the back foot. Hive's almost done. Serral now has saturated his third base. The third base of Trigger has been saturated for a while, and even though Trigger's not got splash damage, it's just a massive Blink Stalkers charge, Immortals +2. He's also got Microbial Shroud and Infestors coming in behind, which are going to be massive boosts. So good against those Marines. Will be Fungal. Microbial will be amazing. Once Ultras come in, that'll be crazy. Also, what are the upgrades for Clem, guys? He's on 1-1. He hasn't been able to afford starting his 2-2, which means the longer this goes, these Marines are not scaling as well as some of these other units. Marines do use a massive stim. They get a few of these Stalkers, but that's so many Stalkers. I feel like they could almost stand and fight if they just do individual blinks. Lings coming in for the counterattack. The Marines still trying to chase down these Stalkers. I feel like Trigger's done an excellent job, but he corners himself. Blinking all at once may have been a mistake. Then again, these Marines are heavily damaged. Heavily damaged. Oh my gosh, but the Marines, they've got so much damage. The medevac's coming in as well. Those Stalkers, it looks like, will get overrun just due to the medevac healing. Lings cancel another base in the middle. It looks like that command center does survive. The Marines almost win the fight, but at the end, a few Zealots come in, 4 more Stalkers as well. Clem does escape with pretty much only his medevacs. The back door's open. Oh, Serral being a bit of a backdoor bandit here, guys. That is nasty finds them open there. There's not that many Marines on the front either. Serral being so cautious. He could just run all of his Lings in. But this is the most Serral thing ever. He's like, oh, I'm not sure if this is a good decision. I'll play cautiously. There's 20 probes sitting there. 3 kills, basically. Another siege tank out in the open. Clem's Mass Marine with MaNa's Blink Stalkers. Are they able to defend? Dude, they are getting overrun right now. So many Stalkers blinking in. The libs go down. And that with the Mass Ling with now, I think it's 2-1? 2-1 Zerglings doing crazy damage. Almost all the medevacs go down. There's now Fungal in the mix as well. Clem and MaNa are going to have to tap out. You might think, well, they held, didn't they? But if we rewind a few seconds, you notice these Lings did eventually click in the back door and completely ruined the main base of Clem. Nice game there for Serral and Trigger. It all came back to the fact that it's a big map and they got away with really greedy starts. So the one thing I got to check here for the metagame, right? We can always do our little rewind and try to figure out is they did work a scout, right? Because surely you guys didn't Nexus first without scouting with a worker, right? Oh my god, pro gamers are so stupidly greedy. Okay, so guys, if Clem and MaNa had actually just done like a proxy 4-gate or, you know, proxy barracks, this is a free win. But basically, Serral and Trigger, you can either say stupid gamble, they flipped a coin and said, let's just hope they don't do that because we're not even going to work a scout while doing the greediest openings possible. Or you can give the benefit of the doubt and say, Clem and MaNa aren't going to one-base proxy. These guys are too good for that. We've studied their builds. We know how they play. They're not going to do that. And they felt like they could take the greedy risk. Because this is insane, man. If they committed fully to this early aggression, it's actually, there's just no way you defend this. I also think if Clem didn't run that first Reaper in here, which that moment there was really bad. Because if you get like 3 Reapers together really early, they might have been able to like rotate around this main, kill like 5, 6, 7 more drones while the Adepts are distracting the Stalkers. That could have been massive. So I do think that was a pretty big missed opportunity here in this early game. But hey, they get away with the greed. Basilisk win game 1. All right, guys. I'm getting deja vu. We're back on Gem Guard, and shout out to Avex making an awesome map here. But this time, the player positions have spawned. That's right, guys. We are playing a bit later in the tournament. Serral on the right side. Trigger protected behind him this time around. And we've got, of course, Clem on the left, MaNa protected behind him. Now, this time around, we are going to see MaNa and Clem go for the forward wall-off, but I wonder if Trigger and Serral are crazy enough to go... No. There's the gateway. Yeah, never mind. No Nexus first, 2 games in a row. All right, a bit more chilled out. Obviously, hatch first for Serral is fine. And they're once again not worker scouting, which I always find incredibly risky when you are playing 2v2s, especially if you want to do standard expand builds. And you can see MaNa and Clem are just not as comfortable with that. They're like, no, we're going to go scout. Now, they could still do something highly aggressive off of this, but with only 1 gas for Clem, no second barracks yet. Looks like that window's closing in that regard. And MaNa, I would imagine he's going down to build a Nexus, is what this looks like, this probe heading to the natural. His probe's going to come in. He sees no expansion there. He sees Serral's expansion. That immediately is going to make him go, okay, heave a sigh of relief. You guys are not being crazy aggressive. And indeed, here is that 4th base. Or, sorry, 2nd base for MaNa. There we go. Goes down. Trigger chops his at almost the same time. Of course, Trigger's a little ahead because he didn't probe scout. Oh, yes, he did. He just did it a bit later. So he's only a couple minerals there. This is live, Yep, welcome live viewers. I am live on Twitch TV. We are casting the best games of StarCraft. As you can guess from the title, the name of the show, we do this, usually it's every Saturday for me every week. That's Friday for you guys in the northern, the western hemisphere, I guess. Is that a hemisphere? I don't know, whatever you call it. Essentially, people over there in North America and Europe, obviously these games are never live, as that's why we know they are entertaining. Hence, they are the best games of StarCraft. Usually from the previous week, but sometimes it is from several weeks, especially when I've been traveling to Canada, as I was recently. You guys can type !bracket to see exactly where the games are from. If you want to spoil yourself on the results, you can go look those up on Wikipedia and see who's won these games. Do not share those results in chat. There's about 1,000 StarCraft professional matches that get played each week. And most of the viewers who are watching either live here or on YouTube are not up to date on exactly what's happened, because the whole point of this show is, hey, here's the best matches that you probably didn't see, because there are so many of these tournaments going on every single week. Clem does get himself a kill there as well. It's not Friday in the EU, lol. Okay, guys, we've got a hearing test. So like I said, so we normally do that every Saturday my time, Friday if you're in EU, but we're doing it today because it's Sunday. We're doing it a day later today. because we were very busy yesterday. I had to go to my niece's birthday. Wouldn't have squeezed the stream in. That's all right, guys. Get those ears cleaned out. Twitch chat. Reaper gets itself another kill. Well, that's a quick lair. Is he going to go Mutas or Nidus? I think it's Mutalisk. Is Mutalisk good against this combo? It's only good if you do not expect MaNa to play Stargate. MaNa's played Stargate. He could go Hydras. If you went 2-base Hydra plus 2-base Blink timing, that could be a decent build. Problem is the Stalkers don't really tank for the Hydras. It's not like the smoothest combo. I don't know, man. Third hatchery goes down. I think it's just going to be a wave of Mutalisk. That's going to force MaNa into heavy Phoenix. Oh, this is going to be so weird. 2 more gases come down as well. I really wonder. Serral's got a scout with his Overseer, and he's got to confirm what's happening. And likewise, if this Oracle can see that quick lair, that's really big. This is going to become... Whenever you've got a Protoss player who can hard counter Spire play, but he needs to see it and react in time, you end up with a really weird situation. Because if they see it in time, the Zerg commits a ton of money to Mutas, and then there's a few Phoenix ready to greet it. It's terrible for Serral. It's terrible for the Zerg. But right now, the Stalkers are pushing back the Oracle. He can't see anything. 4 gas already for MaNa. What is this, guys? He's already building Immortals. MaNa's going double Robo. Is he just going to play a ground-pounding army? He's just going to add a Colossus Immortal Disruptor plus Clem's Marines? That's funky as all heck. He is building a Phoenix right now, though. Did he see it? He did not see the Spire, guys. Remember, the Spire's down here, but he's building a Phoenix. Think that's just to deal with Overlords? And Marines can kind of deal with Mutas to a certain extent, at least as like a stopgap, but Serral here, is he going to drone his third before going Mutas? The answer appears to be no. He's building Lings, and that Spire's almost ready. Notice he's got 20 supply free, enough to build about 10 Mutalisks. He's just building 3 more drones now. Oracles come in, and great scout for MaNa. He sees the Spire, and he's going to go second Stargate, which is very wise, as well as a Fleet Beacon immediately on 2-base. Wow. 2-base, 2 Stargate, 2 Fleet Beacon, double Rover. Guys, I didn't realize MaNa watched my most recent Bronze to GM. This is the one which I stopped doing after Diamond League because I was like, oh, it's a bit hard to get this style to through Masters all the way to GM. The games take forever. The players are too good. You're probably better off supporting Gateway units with Robo and Stargate units rather than only building Robo and Stargate units. But MaNa, of course, has Clem to back him up with a very standard Marine tank comp. And it should help round out this style and make it a bit more playable. The Mutas are coming out. They've got +1 as well. The Phoenix are building, though. And I think this is going to be really interesting. There's no battery here. I think this base being most exposed and not having a cannon or a battery in it is a big mistake. Where are the Phoenix guys? The Phoenix, I mean, this... Oh, man, MaNa leaves the most exposed base. I'm surprised Clem wasn't there with a few Marines, even. The Phoenix are going to fly over now. Does Serral stay mass air? Does he start Corruptors? I think his first goal will be to build a 4th, drone up a little bit, knowing that Phoenix can't really hit a timing attack. So what he's probably going to do is cut Muta production, drone hard, build a 4th, and then go into a big wave of Corruptors to suddenly kill all the Phoenix, like build 10 Corruptors to overwhelm the Phoenix, and then go back into mass Muta. He's grabbing even more probes. Oh, MaNa with some mistakes here. Trigger's trying to... Oh, he's trying to bait him into the Stalkers. That's very cute. I like the way they're pairing up here. Oh, when he spots the backdoor. Dude, they're playing the backdoor bandit style once again. Trigger sneaking into the backdoor. They could break these rocks, but instead he's just going to blink in and... Oh, he could even get the Phoenix range if he wanted. He's going to go after the probes for now. I think he's just going to try and maybe take out a Stargate, or is he going to try and play carefully? Okay, he's going to just recall. Probably a good call. You know, not overcommitting, and he knows the Phoenix are out of position, which means the Mutas can go in. Oh, Dude, pro gamers on voice chat are forced to be reckoned with. He's like, I got his Phoenix out of position. Go, 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 go. But it looks like the Mutas are willing to sacrifice themselves. They've stayed there way too long, and I really think he should have pulled back a few seconds earlier. Now he's going to trade them out for, like, 1 Phoenix, maybe 2 if he's lucky. Oh, he does actually... get a second Phoenix. Not too bad with how many probes they've killed. He's also got that 3rd fully saturated. 4th base is up. We've also got Trigger here going for his own 4th base. Mass Stalkers coming in. Phoenix aren't going to help against this. Where's the Marine tank? There's a massive workers for Clem, but he's only got 24 Marines and 3 tanks. That Gateway Wall-off is going to go down. Clem needs to get back to the front right now. Clem needs to siege these tanks sooner rather than later, but I think the Wall-off is enough to scare these players away. All right, Wigglesworth, thank you very much for the sub. How are we doing, guys? Stasis trap running out. Oh, This is not a planetary. It's only a third base. Of course it's not a planetary. They're going to blink in there, and Clem getting caught out of position. You got to realize that this map rewards aggression because they can jump in the back door as well. So Clem, he doesn't want to commit his whole force down here. He's worried about getting caught out. The Phoenix should pick up some Stalkers. Yeah, punish the retreat. Only picks up 2 of them. I think MaNa could have picked up 5 there, but look at that. Look at that. Now he's going to recall the Phoenix to the main. And there's Corruptors in here. And he's already got +1 attack. +1 armor is coming in. And the air attack upgrade for MaNa is almost there, but he's a little behind on those upgrades, and that does make a big difference. These Phoenix are going to try to engage here. You want to shift-click the Mutas, if possible. You can technically outrange the Corruptors, but only by 1 range. And of course, Corruptors have 2 base armor. Phoenix only do 2 times 5 damage because they're not light units, which means you're doing a tiny amount of damage per shot to the Corruptors. In terms of effective damage, that's if you've got equal armor versus attack upgrades, it's 6 damage a shot, Phoenix versus Corruptor, whereas you're doing 20 versus the Mutalisk. Massive difference. About over 3 times more damage per shot to a Mutalisk than it is to a Corruptor in terms of effective damage. Oh no. Oh, Serral finds the pylon. The Corruptors might not be able to win this fight long term, but they're able to occupy the Phoenix and Marines long enough. The Mutas are killing all the tech. The Zealot Stalker comes in with the Archons as well. Trigger, he's got Storm as well. He does drop some nice, big, juicy Storms there. And on the SCVs as well. The SCVs trying to get out of there. The Widowmines and Marines trying to defend right now, but they're so stuck on the defensive. And that is a big punish coming in. Dude, Trigger and Serral are playing out of their minds right now. Serral unzips his fly. Oh, dude. You can tell Serral has been there after a Finnish World Cup football match. You know, he knows all about the public urination in the public square. You know, when they all yell Toril, it's basically just saying get someone over here with some industrial cleaners because everyone's taking a celebratory wee-wee in the city hall. And that's exactly what Serral just did on MaNa's base. MaNa and Clem getting caught on the defensive, and it looks like Serral and Trigger getting away with greed in game 1. The second game around, a bit more assertive, but you can see the way they never even minded these minerals open this time. They just used blinks in that direction, as well as air units to pressure. And I think this was just really hard, because even though, yes, the Stargates can counter the Mutas, I think you need to really counter them very quickly and very hard. And the fact that the Mutas like kind of surprised on the natural so early, and already found damage with their first wave at like, what, 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes, is very early in the game, right, when these first Mutas flew in. And that's kind of a problem, because you could see the economy started to scale. Already they were a bit ahead in workers at about 110 workers now versus 100. 10 worker advantage might not seem like that much, but you gotta realize MaNa doesn't really have gateway production. His robos aren't useful at all now, because even though they counter, you can build immortals, they counter stalkers. The stalkers are never going to be where your immortals are, right? This is all about mobility, and the way Serral and Trigger kept them busy, were like, are we going to attack here? And you can't chase the Mutas back, because if the Phoenix try to actually chase them back, the Stalkers kill them. So this gave the Mutas, even when they were the much worse army, by pairing them up with these Stalkers, it allowed them to actually bully MaNa and Clem. And I think Clem needed to, I don't know if he should have got more aggressive, snuck some drops out. He did go much quicker into double upgrades this time around. He went much quicker into economy, but I think he gave up any ability to like get stim, combat shields, or 1-1 early enough, and then it felt like they got a little bit too bullied here. And you can see just they kept on hitting this natural base. They made this so hard for MaNa to really get his feet underneath him. And it's so funny, because I'm used to Phoenix in a 1v1 shutting the Mutas down. They chase them across the map, and if you don't have Corruptors in time, you're going to lose all your Mutas. In this case, he always had those Blink Stalkers to fall back on. And MaNa kind of knows he can't chase this. Obviously not perfect micro from him, but yeah, just really well done. Really well done. I think this was so nice. They've got so many bases behind it. Smooth transition into Storm, Corruptors, adding the armor upgrades. Just very nice play. I think Serral and Trigger really on the same wavelength. And I think Clem probably played a bit too greedy. I think in general, yes, there's this idea greed can pay off in the long term. But I think in 2v2s, you want to have the minimal window of greed and then turn that into something you throw at your opponents for them to deal with it, to put them on the back foot, or to shut down their aggression. And then you do greed, in general, only behind your own aggression. Whereas for Clem, if we look at this build, go to like 3.5 minutes. I just want to show you guys his setup. Yeah, he's going for an early tank, which is very defensive, right? It's purely defensive. And past that, what does he do? He goes 3rd command center, double engineering bay. His stim takes forever to get up. And I think it just felt a little bit too conservative here for Clem on this build, where if he was going to do this, they probably needed to take a riskier opening where he goes 3rd command center immediately, at like 2 minutes 40, you know, as if he's playing a TVZ. These barracks are just so late. The engineering base as well. It all just takes a while to get going. And I think this was excellent play for Serral Trigger. GG, well played. I think on a more closed map, MaNa and Clem style makes more sense. But on this map, where you've got such spread on your bases, you've got a backdoor, the southern bases are really exposed, you want to play a bit more aggressive, because map control is going to get rewarded on a map like Gem Garden. GG, well played. Serral Trigger win. They get 2-0 and close out the series. GG, well played.